Yes. All right. Welcome back to Bullish, everybody. I am Sam Hardy. We've got Nick Stenger back in the saddle over there, episode number 8. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we are Stenger Family Office. For the past 42 years, it has been our mission to deliver both clarity and confidence to help secure your financial future. Sorry that we took a couple of weeks off. There was no earnings happening, and we were traveling. We saw our great people down in Houston a couple of weeks ago, had a nice happy hour down there. So that was wonderful. But excited to get back into it. Some great American companies to cover here. Remember, everything that we're talking about is not individual stock advice. Past performance, not a guarantee of future results. Stenger Family Office and its clients may hold positions in some of the stocks discussed. For a full disclosure, visit StangerFamilyOffice.com. Today, we've got AutoZone, General Mills, FedEx, Darden, FactSet, Costco, Cintas, Paychex, Accenture, Nike, Carmax, Carnival, a couple articles coming out of India as well. Depending on timing here, we might get to them, maybe not, but stick around. Definitely some interesting stuff happening there. Nick, I'll leave it to you for a second here, buddy.
Sam, I've got the documents. I'm ready to go. I have done my homework. I'm excited. 8 episodes of Bullish. Here we are. Is it 8? It's 8, correct?
Yes.
Here we are. Can't believe it. Thought it would never happen again. Just dropped some documents on the floor as I slammed these documents on the desk. I'm pumped up. I had a cappuccino. I'm ready to go.
I also had an afternoon coffee. I also know that those documents do not actually pertain to the show. No,
I just grabbed some random ones on my desk. You're right. You got me.
I'm well aware, and I had to call you out there with a nice joke to start. So let's get into it here. AutoZone beat on both the top and bottom line estimates. We had revenue up 6.5% year over year, earnings per share up almost 15%. If we look at the stock in the short term here, roughly flat on the year, and seen about a 1.5% decline since the earnings there. But let's take a look at why that might be. Shorter term, there's been some trouble executing. It was admitted on the call that they have had that there, but they're a behemoth in that space, right? Going to continue to grow their network, distribution centers, and technology around that to efficiently be able to get parts out to other stores. Growth opportunity for them long term seems to be in that commercial segment. So and really that's for auto parts retailers in general. So if we're looking at it, only makes up about 30% of their annual sales. And as we look out longer, and I know you'll have an opinion on this one, Nick, but they've really had strong long run performance. And maybe tell us why you think analysts saying that the price leaves a little room for error right now could be incorrect.
One of our best performers of all time. AutoZone's a rock star, up 228% price return, 223, the past 5 years, trading at a current forward or a current P of 19. I don't know if you have the forward there, Sam. Pull it up. Tell me what you think. But I will say, I think going to continue to be one of the top performers in the portfolio as we deal with the reality of higher interest rates, less people buying new cars. New car prices are through the roof. Used car prices are through the roof. Eventually, people will be forced to fix their old cars and be stuck with what they have. They're going to AutoZone. That's my opinion. Same thing with housing. People are going to be renovating rather than moving because they can't leave the 3% interest rate behind. That's why I'm bullish on the fix-it-up type of stocks like Home Depot, Lowe's in the home department, AutoZone in the car department. But I'm not bullish on Advanced Auto Parts. They're in big trouble. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble. AutoZone's the winner big time.
Yeah, I had taken a look at O'Reilly as well, who'd performed pretty well long-term, but still is not at the level that AutoZone is at. Because you mentioned it, let's jump down to CarMax. Actually, let's talk them really quick. They beat on the top line, missed on the bottom line. Revenue down almost 12% year over year, and earnings per share coming in at a 5% decrease. As you mentioned, biggest headwinds for them, right? You look at used car prices coming out of COVID. From then to now, they're up 40% for a used car. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. No, I'm just going to say, I'm surprised to see the stock hasn't done anything in 5 years.
CarMax.
It took a complete round trip. It went from 70 in 2018 to 150 something, and now it's back down to 68. Unbelievable. If you can't make money in this environment, when are you going to make money?
Well, I think part of it, and we went over this too when we were talking about how much crude is worth, right? Where it hits a certain point where it benefits nobody because people don't want to spend to buy, and the companies, that are selling the crude are in trouble because the demand all of a sudden it hits this certain point. They said $100 a barrel or whatever it was, where they start seeing their number of consumers go down. And I think that's kind of what has happened here on Carmax, right? It's almost, you mentioned comparing it to houses. People are going to stay in their houses and instead spend money to fix those up. It's the same thing with cars. You look at the report, Carmax is saying, hey, we're not even buying the same amount of cars as we were. I think it was down 14% from last year, the number of cars that they're able to buy. And then they're down, 12% or so in cars that they're actually selling. And part of it too is borrowing costs are so high. You look at people who, you're buying a used car and you've got decent credit score, 660 to 780, and you're looking at minimum 7% to 9% APRs on buying used cars. So it's just, people see that, they see what their monthly is going to be, and they say, no, I don't need to do this. I can handle the car that I currently have. And maybe they end up, using AutoZone to fix it up.
It's wild. The revenue is up 65% the past 5 years, but the earnings per share is down. Let's do the math. 20%. Wow. How do you make 65% more revenue and you do 20% less income? That's crazy. I think you're exactly right. I think the analysis is good. I think the costs are eating them alive. They don't know what to do.
Well, and do you think it matters that they're probably buying cars at a greater amount as well?
Well, the gross profit was 10% the past 12 months. 2018 was 13%. So it's not a huge difference. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. I didn't do too much digging on this one. I would guess it might have something to do with interest rates. That could be killing them. Net financing. No, actually, no, that's wrong. Net financing income's almost double what it was in 2018. I don't know how these guys don't make money. It's wild.
Yeah.
Wages are up a lot. Wages are up to, wages and selling and general admin expenses up to 8.7% versus 9.4. You can't point to that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't buy this thing. Obviously, it could be a trade at some point, but I don't know how you don't make money in an environment like this.
Yeah, definitely a couple of things need to change in the greater economy for them to really have some value as far as the stock goes moving forward here. All right, let's do General Mills, basically in line with estimates. They had sales up 4%, did see a drop in earnings per share about 16%, which, very similar situation to lots of companies in the space that we've been looking at. They've been doing lower volume. Increase in prices has helped with that some, but just not enough to help the bottom line numbers there. And I mean, if you look at General Mills on a go forward basis, their biggest strengths are the recognizable brands that they have, right? You got Haagen-Dazs, Blue Buffalo on the pet side, Pillsbury, Annie's, Betty Crocker, to name a few. Not to mention they've got some unbelievable cereal. I won't go over it. Because they've got some of the best, except for maybe like Frosted Flakes. But they're using
Frosted Flakes.
No, I do like Frosted Flakes, but I don't think they're General Mills, are they?
I don't know. No, that's Kellogg's.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying
okay.
outside of that,
I was like, you don't like Frosted Flakes. What's wrong with you?
No, I love Frosted Flakes, and I love more General Mills cereals.
That's the same.
Hey,
fun fact.
Thanks, Tony the Tiger.
My parents took me on a Kellogg factory tour when I was 8 years old. It was fun. It was good.
Where was that at?
Battle Creek.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing as an 8-year-old kid. So, I mean, they're massive, right? So let's just talk about what's going to help them moving forward. They have the ability to scale, increase efficiency. They've got great distribution channels. As long as they continue to help their margins, they're looking good forward, even though they might have some short-term pain here. And most of their segments actually saw minor growth. Pet sales was down, which what we talked about Chewy a couple weeks ago. It was such a hot thing during COVID, people spending money on their pets. That's not necessarily surprising to see that down. And you and I have definitely helped to this, but their biggest grower was snack sales, up 8%.
Hey,
So
hey, hey, what are you trying to say there?
hey, I put myself in the same boat as you. Okay. I didn't only call you out. I have also added inches to the waistline
Do
in
they
the last
make,
couple of years.
no, do they make Cheetos?
Oh,
No, they don't. I think Coke makes Cheetos, right?
yeah, I think you're right there.
Yeah. They
Oh,
make Bugles.
PepsiCo's Frito-Lay.
Oh, okay. They make Chex Mix, which somebody did have a bag. Annie's, which, they say they're healthier. I don't know. I guess maybe they are. You know what's
Annie's?
crazy? Yes, you know what's crazy? Okay, my wife told me this. She's a big health food type of person. Not health food, but she just likes to pay attention. It's good. I used to make fun of her. Now I get it. Now she's telling me, okay, you get certain snacks if they're not organic and they're using peanut oil. The peanut oil is or soybean oil, for example, it's covered in pesticides. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
You're putting toxins
And
in your body.
I'll keep that in mind. They do have Gardettos, which that's like my favorite plain thing. I'll always buy a bag of Gardettos before I hop on. And I'm that guy where they're like, what smells? Who let this guy fly? That's me. Anyways,
Pillsbury, Progresso, Nature Valley, which I hate Nature Valley, the
why?
granola bars. They
I
fall apart when you eat them.
Well, Nature Valley does not only have those bars, they have other options.
I've never seen a Nature Valley. I've never had a
Have
Nature Valley bar and been like, wow, I'm going to have another one of these.
have you ever had the chocolate ones?
No,
The chocolate ones are fantastic. And then you partner it with a peanut butter one. It's basically like it makes you feel like you're eating a healthy Reese's, even though it's not that healthy because those things have so many sugar. But all right, that's enough snack talk for me. But let's move on to, unless you have something you'd like to add
no,
there.
no, I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. FedEx missed on the top line, barely crushed bottom line earnings, revenue down 7%, earnings per share up 27. The stock is up 4% in the last couple of weeks and continues, honestly, a really strong year for them. I think 50% almost year to date. If you take a look at their two biggest competitors, right? UPS, DHL, other largest carriers globally. FedEx has had it tougher on the 5-year number if you take a look at it, but they are bouncing back.
They're going to
UPS is
bounce
down this
right
year,
back down. They're going to bounce right back down to where they were. I
going to
can almost,
zero.
no, they're not going to zero, obviously, but they're going to bounce right back down to where they were. I've watched this movie 4 times. You get a nice little rally, then you get blown out of the water. If you have made money on this thing, get out while the getting's good. Now's the time. Sell. None of this
All
is
right.
financial advice.
I was going to say, at least they've got some stuff going for them. They've got the largest share of the less than truckload carriers in the US, which is what a lot of smaller businesses use. Margin in that area on their ground business is up almost 500 basis points. And you had Yellow go out of business, which had 10% of the market share. That's all of a sudden showing up.
No,
I'm not
that
saying I
has nothing to
disagree with
do
you.
with it.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. You still think the same thing.
Eh, no. Yellow was like they were going to go out of business no matter what. Terribly run. No. I if I had to buy one of these things, which I don't want to buy either of them right now, UPS. That's the one I would buy.
Okay. It's who we use personally. We'll do a quick shout out to Bob. Bob is
What
fantastic.
up, Bob?
Bob is our delivery driver. He is always in the peppiest of moods. He's also a big hunter.
We
So he
love
and
Bob.
we can talk all the time on that. Delivers packages the best you've ever seen. Okay.
UPS, if you're listening to this, give Bob a raise. He deserves it.
100%. Okay. Darden Restaurants. Let's look at narrow surprise in the top and bottom line estimates. Revenue up 11.5%, 10% drop in net profit margin. If we take a look at that, similar to others in the restaurant industry, inflation and managing pricing has definitely taken a hit on the bottom line, especially in restaurants where margins are already razor thin. If you take a look at them, they're facing that headwind. They are larger, so scale and transaction volume has typically been something that's helped them price more efficiently. I did read something, part of their strategy, God bless you, is that they typically price a little bit under what inflation is. So they haven't been moving it up as much as most people have. But I mean, they've got a great portfolio. On the lower end, you've got Olive Garden, Longhorn, Yard House. As you move up, you got Seasons 52, Capital Grill. They just added Roost Chris into the mix this year. I think I saw like 77 stores they added. So, the landscape is very competitive. Margins are thin, as I mentioned. The stock's down north of 6%, which is roughly in line with what the S&P had done, but it's flat on the year. Share your thoughts with me, buddy.
Okay, I've been to all of them except for Bahama Breeze. I'm going to rank them. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to score them out here, okay?
All right,
Olive Garden,
let's hear it.
7.9.
Okay.
For what it is. Look, I'm not saying it's the best Italian restaurant you're going to ever go to. I'm just saying for what it is. It's a 7.9. It's good. It's easy.
Still
it's
the breadsticks, right?
breadsticks and salad all day long. Okay. And little pro tip, go sit at the bar. Okay. Take your spouse. Okay. Sit at the bar, have some salad, have some breadsticks. Maybe you have a glass of wine. You're going to get out of there for $30-$40. It's great for dinner. Okay.
Yep.
7.9. Longhorn Steakhouse, 3.8. 3.8.
Do you prefer Outback in that situation?
No, I prefer Texas Roadhouse. Okay. Now, Longhorn's good, but for what it is, it's overpriced. I'm pretty sure it's more expensive than Texas Roadhouse. I'm a Texas Roadhouse guy, but not terrible. It's just a 3.8. It's just subpar. Okay. Yard House. It's okay. I'm going to 5.2. Only reason I'm going to 5.2. Okay, I'm going to tell you. They put the calories on the menu. I don't want to see how many thousands of calories I'm eating. If I'm going to go
be higher, you're saying if they didn't do that, it would score slightly higher.
Oh, of course, it'd be high sixes. High sixes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
That's fair.
Roost Chris. I'm going to go a 6.8. A 6.8. It's a solid steakhouse. It's a chain. For what it is, it's not bad. It's consistent. It's good. You gotta like the butter steak. That's their thing. I'm a 6.8.
And the piping hot plate. Remember,
The
500 degrees or whatever. Be very careful. Bad. Don't touch it.
I don't mind it. Okay, Cheddar's. That's right off the highway. It's not bad. Again, for what it is, 6.7. It's up there. It's good. I mean, if you got to stop, and you're picking between McDonald's and a couple other places, Cheddar's isn't bad. Now you got to sit down, but it's good. Okay, Capital Grill, unpopular opinion, 3.9.
Wow.
Not good. Don't like it. Overpriced. Seasons 52. This may come as a surprise to you. 9.7.
That's one of my wife's favorite restaurants, I will say. She always calls it 52 Seasons, but she always enjoys the meal.
This is an excellent spot. Everybody loves it. Now, interior decor could be better.
Little old school.
Kind of reminds you of an old folks home. Not bad. Food's great. It's great. Very reasonably priced. Eddie V's. I'm going to 7.3. It's good. Have you ever been to Eddie V's?
I have not been to an Eddie V's, no.
Okay, it's good. It's not bad.
I'll take your word.
Bahama Breeze, never been. I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So if you haven't been to Seasons 52, check it out on Nick's recommendation. And if you want to go a little cheaper than that, then just do the OG Olive Garden 7.9. Breadsticks and salad. It evens out.
That place, you could say to your wife, hey, you want to go out for dinner tonight? She's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. Let's go to the Olive Garden. You're thinking, oh, the Olive Garden, I could always get a table there. No, wrong. You're waiting for 2 hours. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Friday
the
night,
place is always packed.
it's always packed. And now I will say one thing about Darden stock. I like it. I think they got good enough brands. Olive Garden is clearly carrying it, but I like the brand. I think they do a good job. They manage well. Stock's off a little bit, like all the restaurants, like you said. But other than that, it's great.
Okay, let's do a 180. Let's talk FactSet. Big fan of FactSet. They were in line with top end, missed by some margin on the bottom line there. Revenue up 7%. And that's really kind of what had boosted the stock price these last couple of weeks here. So it was having an okay year, but up 5% since earnings. From a customer perspective, they're great. Their annual subscription value for professional services is up 10% to 2.2 billion. And they've got an amazing retention rate, 98%. But as they move forward, their biggest advantage is pricing, which is probably why their retention rate's high for the quality that you're getting. But they've got some big name as far as competitions go. You got Reuters, Morningstar, Bloomberg. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I've always known this is a good stock. I know it's a good company. I don't know why I haven't bought it, to be honest. I always looked at the PE ratio and thought it was overvalued, but clearly not. It's done great. That's all I have to say. It's kind of small for us. It's only 17 billion, but we'll watch it.
All right. Costco beat on the top and bottom line estimates. Revenue up 9.5%. Net profit margin increased 6%. I mean, they're massive. 79 billion in revenue this quarter, a strong quarter, and a strong end to their fiscal year. They've definitely seen some pullback on the larger discretionary items, impacted by some fuel price deflation that took place back in the second quarter there. And if you look at it, they've got a lot of positives moving forward. Global renewal rate on memberships. They've seen a lot of growth internationally, but their retention rate's 90%. Paid members at 71 million. If you do the math, which I did, 71 million households times 12 months times $300 average ticket a month. If a household goes there once, is 255 billion, which was relatively
With the
close.
B.
Yes, with a B, and it was 237 billion for that fiscal year. So that's it makes sense. They're just a behemoth. It's having a strong year, 26% year to date return on the stock, 2% since earnings came out.
Yeah, this is a core holding for us. I will say it's definitely overvalued. I've done the math on it. They got to grow. I did some math too. You're not the only one who did the math. I did the math too. Little overvalued. But I'm not selling it. I wouldn't sell it. I wouldn't touch it. Leave it alone. They're going to grow. They got India. They got all these other emerging marketplaces. It's a wonderful story because it totally plays on people not understanding how money works and sales. People going to Costco, they're like, oh, I can buy 18 milks for $3. No, you don't need 18 milks, but people still buy it. We're on our 15th thing of almond milk sitting in our cabinet. There's two of us. I could say to Jamie, I go, why are we buying 15 almond milks? It's going to be 2025 by the time we finish this.
Well, just wait, Jack. Jack will do some damage. All of a sudden, he's going to hit a growth spurt, and he's going to take half of those out in a month.
True. But here's the deal. Okay, you go to Costco, every item's $20. You can't. If you go to Jewel, I actually did this the last time I went to the store. Average item at Jewel was $11. Average item at Costco is like 21, 22 because you're buying more stuff than you need. Oh, it's on sale. It's not a sale if you're spending twice as much as you need. But you know what? God bless them. They're doing great. People are spending money like it's going out of style. We could be in a deep recession, and I still think people are going to go to Costco and spend money there. So we like it as a stock. It's a core holding for us.
Okay, let's talk Cintas. Basically in line with estimates, revenue grew 8%, earnings per share 9%. Revenue and operating margin was up across all their segments. The biggest one being uniform rentals there, which I know we've kind of been looking through Morningstar. They say Cintas is a wide moat business, so lots of protection from potential companies knocking them off their high horse here, but uniform rentals up 7%, first aid up 11%, all their other segments were up 8%. 8-ish%. So consensus seems high. They're a large player in that space. Nobody's gonna, take them out, and they're operating at a very high level right now. CEO is very pleased with how everybody's doing. Short-term stock's been down, but it's having an okay year.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much, and I don't have anything intelligent to add to this conversation. I just know they're unprofitable. Hopefully they'll get Are they unprofitable? I think they are, right?
Yeah,
They went
I mean,
unprofitable for the last quarter. Do you know why that was?
Um, I did not read anything on that, to be honest. Did not see.
Okay, well, I don't know. I have nothing really important to say other than the stocks like had a amazing 5 years. So good job, Cintas.
Right. All right, let's cover Paychex. Another one to beat all estimates. Revenue up 6.5, earnings per share up 10.5. More niche in focusing on some small to medium-sized businesses for HR, payroll, benefits, all that kind of stuff. And I'll be interested to see your thoughts here, because if you look at Morningstar, they also call it a wide moat business in that they have some great tailwinds, continued regulation in favor of being able to track those benefits, retirement solutions, things like that. And their human capital management, if I look at that, I'm surprised that it's wide moat, because there's a lot of great companies in that space. You look at Workday, ADP, Oracle's got something in the space, SAP, just to name a few. There's also a lot of pressure on small to medium-sized businesses at the moment. So I'm interested to see what you think for it.
Look, all these payroll stocks are directly tied to the economy. If the economy is doing okay, the labor market's okay, they do pretty well. ADP has just ripped. I mean, it's been a great stock. We had it in the portfolio. We sold it in 2021. We took some profit on it. It kind of came back here, which I wasn't overly surprised about. It was just time for us to take profit on it. ADP is the 800-pound gorilla, and Paychex is its smaller cousin. 670,000 payroll clients, so pretty big. I like it. I mean, I don't mind the idea. I think it's very cyclical. That's one of the things. When you go through a time like 08 and 09, if you seriously hit a snag in the market, you're gonna get whacked. So just be aware of that. I wouldn't go out and buy it right now. I think they're both overpriced, but Paychex pays a slightly higher dividend than ADP. So if you're a dividend shopper, take a look, but I'm not going to buy it as a stock, but I do think it's a good company overall.
Okay. Accenture missed on the top line and hit their bottom line estimates. I mean, year over year was actually the opposite story. Revenue was up 3.5. Profit margin was down over 20%. Back in Q1, I know they had announced that they were going to be laying off 19,000 people over the next 18 months. So just trying to help that bottom line out. At the end of the day, they're a huge IT consulting firm, and they're willing to make those decisions. So they had a 2% decrease in consulting revenue, which is expected, seeing as corporations are spending a little bit less, less discretionary spending from them, and continue to be muted moving forward. Here's what the expectation is. Long term though, don't count them out, as their expertise in IT consulting. We've got all this AI stuff that's happening. It's going to need to be implemented in businesses in an efficient manner. At least in the stuff I'm reading, that's what they're talking about, right? So stock was down like 64 basis points since the release, and I'm pretty sure on the year it's, negligible.
Yeah, these guys are going to struggle going forward. They're not bad businesses. They're great companies, but I have a couple of friends in this line of work, and they will struggle. Okay, there's definitely a slowdown, especially with the small and the medium sized companies. The big companies are going to slow down. With the I would say probably the bull case here is companies will get more tight on their actual in-house employees and maybe fire their do layoffs for their own people on their payroll, because it's much more expensive than hiring consultants. So the bull case would say Accenture is going to have a nice little spot, because they'll come in and do the consulting at much lower prices than what in-house employees could do. The bear case is corporate America is just slowing down on spending in general. So it's like, if there's no projects and there's no spending on those projects, then these things pretty much take a beating. And you saw that during COVID, it went from 212 to 150, which isn't like overly bad. It's a 30% correction. It's like the rest of the market. but it's not something where, you're going out and paying 29 times earnings. So I don't know. There's other companies to me that are more attractive at this point. But if this thing does get into that zone where I think from a PE standpoint, it's more reasonably valued, we're definitely going to buy it because it's a really high quality company. I just think for the cost right now, it's a little bit overpriced.
Yeah, well, it's a $200 billion market cap. So
Yep.
it's massive. All right, let's talk about another massive one. Nike fell short of their top line estimates, excelled on the bottom line there. Revenue increased 2% year over year. Earnings per share was just up 1%. I mean, they've obviously as well had some headwinds with inflation here, decrease in household discretionary spending. Doesn't change the brand and the market share that they have across the globe, which is basically what they have going for it, because North America was actually the only place they saw a decrease in revenue. It was down 2%. Europe, China, Asia Pacific, Latin America, all of those saw nothing crazy, but some revenue growth. And, while they're struggling now, again, it's a huge brand recognition across the world, and have the ability to try and add some scale, some efficiency, accessibility to the products, maybe cutting out some of the middle steps for people to be able to buy it. But the stock's definitely been battered this year. I mean, it's down 19%. It had a little rally coming out of the earnings report, but
Yeah, Nike's going to be the next Disney. Bottom line, you know. And I don't see a bottom on Disney either, by the way. I mean, Disney's still trading at a 64 price to earnings ratio. I don't think the bottom's in for Nike. I think we got a lot more downward pressure on it. I think they're kind of losing a lot of their competitive advantage. I think they just haven't, they've stayed relevant to a degree, but the sneaker boom is over, and I think it's like, well, okay, what's the next thing, and I don't know. It's clearly the brand leader. There's no question about it. But I just think from a valuation standpoint, man, this thing's got a ways to go before it finds the bottom. It's trading at a 28 forward price to earnings ratio, which is technically lower than where it's been the past 5 years. But remember, the past 5 years included COVID when it had a 50 price to earnings forward and an 80 current. Okay. So this is just one of those classic stories of buying a great company for the wrong price. Still think it's a good company, but I think from a valuation and a stock standpoint, Nike is the next Disney.
are you a customer of Nike, or what kind of shoes? What kind of shoes are you rocking these days?
I like Adidas. I buy them on Amazon. I get the discount ones. They're $50. I go through a pair once every year and a half or 2 years or something. I don't spend a lot of money on shoes. I'm not a shoe guy.
Fair enough. All right, we covered Carmax. Let's talk Carnival here. Nice results from them. Honestly, smashed estimates. Revenue was up 60%, earnings per share up 220. Stocks down about 9.5% since earnings, but it's cruised through the choppy waters of this year. And if you were to look at why, it's the largest cruise company in the industry. It's totally got smoked during COVID. Everything slowed down there. Nobody was even allowed to take cruises. And going back, you remember the people who were on the cruise at the beginning of all that got stuck on there for like weeks on end?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I followed them on Twitter.
Yeah. Which was, I mean, that was crazy when you think about it. But I mean, what's happening is you're seeing obviously the pent up demand for that. People finally started hitting him again, and there were so many vouchers and things that people could carry forward from canceled trips that it didn't necessarily. It was a positive, but it wasn't the full impact. And so now all of those are kind of rolling off, and pretty soon here, they're not going to be, really a part of it. And, they've been discounting trips as well, 25%, 50% on everything to try and get people back into cruises as well. So as all those things kind of, set off, I wrote, they have high seas ahead of them. They can sail the high seas moving forward.
Yeah, I really dislike stocks like this. Any of these stocks are highly cyclical. The casinos, the hotels, the cruise lines, gambling, all that stuff. It's so cyclical, and you got to be in a really nice long run positive economic environment for these things to work. you know, and yeah, there's so many other stocks I'd rather buy before buying a cruise line. So no, it's a trade. People, I get it. People made money on it. They're up 76% this year. Great job. But no, this is not an investment for a serious long run investor.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Thanks, Nick, for the thoughts there. And remember, if you like the show, please subscribe, share it with others that you think would enjoy it. We'll cover those articles next week. And as well, we got another great array of companies. So if you'd like to learn more about Stenger Family Office, visit the website, give us a call at 630-912-8431 to request your complimentary starter kit. You can start a relationship with us at just $1,000. And remember, 6 weeks here, we've got November 14th and 15th, our annual investor day at Hotel Indigo in Naperville. So join us then. We appreciate you listening and hope you have a wonderful rest of the week.